Welcome back to the weekly news. Okay, less monetization, a drama solved, 11.0 actually hitting servers, WoW's next patch date hitting its release candidate, and we've also seen the patch after that. And I've got another data dive to share with you in today's video, and it's a pretty important one. Yeah, there's a lot going on, so let's just get stuck in to the Warcraft news. The War Within has actually hit a major development milestone, and that is testing. The very first build of 11.0 has hit the CDN on WoW Dev. You or I cannot play this, but very soon, friends and family over at Blizzard will be able to. And this is the change in the backend that allows them to actually play the alpha using their own Battle.net account. Pretty damn major milestone, actually. It's something we've seen for all the other recent expansions, and that means we can compare some dates. Dragonflight and Shadowlands Alpha started 83 and 50 days after the very first encrypted beta build appeared. So if we were to just add 83 days and follow the Dragonflight timing then, this public alpha would be on the 6th of March, which, time and date-wise, totally feels right to me. And if you kept the Dragonflight release timing of 220 days after the first encrypted build, yeah, then War Within would be coming out on the 21st of July, which is too soon. If we were to use the Shadowlands numbers, which because of the delay was actually 278 days from the first encrypted build to expansion launch, then that would have the expansion launch being September 17th. Now, am I saying these will be our launch dates? No, absolutely not. What I am saying, though, is that this looks so much more like a workable schedule, as if they're not totally scrambling. Now, at BlizzCon, they said the public testing would start in spring, and I think when we look at this, we see they're totally on target for that. Now, before I noodle a bit on dates, we've also got patch 10.2.6. That has appeared on WoW Dev 3, and since it did appear there, 3 updates to it have dropped, which does show just some active dev going on. Now, 10.2.5 is currently on the PTR. It's actually just been marked as its release candidate, so that means expect a probably earlier January release date for 10.2.5, expect 10.2.6 PTR immediately in the new year, or maybe it'll be crazy and it will actually drop, like over Christmas or something. Anyway, kind of wild, and if you want to make sense of how this is even possible, do remember, they've actually got 3 teams within the World of Warcraft development team, 2 expansion teams and a live team. Now, I imagine the sizes of those teams do fluctuate, obviously, but structurally here, it seems that's what's allowing them to work in parallel so much. As an example, they've straight up said that WoW Midnight Zones are in active development right now, so big picture feels pretty damn good. As does today's sponsor. Alrighty, so charging devices is a fact of life, but if you've got loads of chargers, it's annoying. If they're big and bulky, that's annoying. And hey, if we're doing it every day, we should actually do it well. And that's why today's sponsor, Ugreen, has a terrific solution in their new super fast 100 watt gallium nitride chargers. This is the UK one, I've got the US one as well, and till December 31st, these are 15% off. Now, this compact, lightweight charger will take my MacBook Pro 14 from 0 to 86% in just an hour. Now, this is their latest generation model, where the proprietary AirPyra stacking tech and the latest gallium nitride infinity chip mean that this is actually around the size of their previous 65-watt charger, and it's 37% more energy dense than their previous 100-watt charger. So yes, it's nice when technology makes things better. These, of course, work with many of the fast-charging protocols out there, like Power Delivery, Quick Charge, Adaptive Fast Charging, and others, along with Samsung Super Fast Charging 2.0. Now, you've got 2 USB-C ports and 1 Type-A port for charging up to 3 devices at the same time. Safety-wise then, this is monitoring its temperature on a millimeter basis. Their thermal guard system monitors temperatures and it distributes power full and fast while protecting your batteries. And as a fun plus actually, just of tech advancing, their new gallium nitride infinity chips save 5,003 tons of CO2 just by being more efficient, which is about 220,775 trees. Pretty neat. Now with this though, I carry 1 single charger in my bag. I've got the peace of mind I can charge anything I want super quick. This is a hell of a lot of power in a small form factor. So hit up the link down below and you'll get 15% off till December 31st. We're coming up to the end of the year, and that reminds me of something, because on the 21st of December last year, Blizzard dropped the full roadmap for 2023. Basically, I'm expecting them to do this again, ending this year with perhaps a release date for 10.2.5, a release window for the other patches within Dragonflight, and of course when the seasons will be, along with the War Within release window, which I expect will be latest Q4, super hopium earliest you could say September, right? Which would be like the end of Q3. Anyhow, when we see the roadmap, we'll probably see some of the core features for patch 10.2.6, maybe even 10.2.7. Overall, pretty good, and if Shadowlands era me saw all of this go down, I think the Whiplash would snap his neck. Blizzard have solved a drama so quick that Taliesin will, absolutely still have time to fill his shit show segment, obviously, but seriously, Blizzard were pretty quick-ish in a way. So, here's this set. It looks lovely. I mean, come on, we can be wardens. Now, you get this for completing 12 months of the trading post. And do note, it doesn't have to be consecutive months, just 12 in total. Now, there's a problem here. They color change, which is neat, and it matches how the mount color changes, but it does mean that you can only really use it and the mount together, like if you want them to be color coordinated, and people want that transmog flexibility. Now, those in the data mining community have actually been raising this issue for months and months and months, but with Blizzard confirming it being color changing only very recently, basically the drama pot boiled over, and that seemingly escalated to the point where Blizzard have now given us the good news that we'll actually get 3 sets. A sunset, a moonset, and a color-changing one. So, at least from when it escalated, it seems that they responded to the community drama pretty damn quick and solved the problem. Overall then, far better comms job from Blizzard, and speaking of comms, they're actually reducing monetization. This was neat to see. The second Community Council interview went down with Randy, one of our CMs, Ian Hasekosis, and Jeremy Fiesel. It was great. Now, here's the big headline thing. They said that with the trading post, the overall cost hasn't went up, but there are more items with ones, of course, rotating back in. Now, per the numbers, from launch to now, we've moved from 4,500 tender per month to 9,500 tender. It is absolutely the case that a decent chunk of that, or a very large chunk of that increase, is because of prior items rotating in. That being said, with the likes of the class sets, I think things did get quite expensive. So post-class sets, we'll need to see what the new normal is. Anyway, Ian said that number one, they are looking into more ways for us to earn tender in-game. It would be pretty cool if 1,000 was not the cap, because 1,000 does feel low. I'm not asking to even get nearly everything per month. I do just think a bit more than what it is right now. Point 2 then, Ian said that they do not see the post as a major vector of monetization for the game, which I suppose does mean that it is a minor vector of monetization for the game. He did say there will still be bundles like with the War Within. However, he said that the smaller bundles earlier this year were an experiment. And he said that they do not have immediate plans to continue with that experiment. But credit to Ian, he did say not to take his answer as saying those will never happen again, just current plans. Which, I mean, yeah, look, that's wise of him to say. He's not giving future Ian problems, and it is honest. But at least for right now, it does seem that that's an experiment that at least did not pay off to the point where they want to continue it. Obviously, there was quite a lot of community drama and feedback, and Ian did mention, feedback there, that they listened to it. So, overall then, pretty damn good. I'll do a few quick fire things. So, BFA raids will be getting a sweep of basically mechanics to ensure that soloing isn't being blocked, which is quite nice. That's a video I plan to make soon. For public events, they didn't confirm changes, but they said they're thinking about how they could be playing into, say, the level up process, and if they'll add a green eye, so you can click it in your quest frame to just quickly, find a group to do a public event in. They obviously don't want on-the-fly shard hopping to be something when it's the current expansion, but they're happy enough seemingly for that when it's not the current expansion. You know what? Fair. That could be a neat part of the leveling process. Okay, for other things then, they've said they've got a plan to change tier gear acquisition in the War Within that they think is better than the situation right now, which they said is not ideal. Basically just citing that they don't really like people running multiple different difficulty levels just to get their force set or whatever. So that would certainly be good, even though big picture, with the catalyst charges and everything, I mean, tier has been way better this season than in the past. Overall then, I would recommend you check it out. It's actually real nice to see Randy appear from time to time, which is cool, and all the other community council members on the call, many of which who had great questions. So that was awesome. But next, let's see what's going down in game. Okay, we've got a new store set, the Sky Captain's Masquerade attire, complete with 0 tender in the bundle, as Ian mentioned. Now, you already know what I think about these additional monetization things. I will say that after diving into at least researching Destiny 2, good God, we could have things so much worse. There is another coloration of this, and this set is confirmed to be in the trading post at a future date. And I suppose that being the default for new store sets is a step up over the past. For other things then, if you want some power, well, the Iridescent Essence head enchant from Yggdrasil is now available for those who have gathered the Enchanted Ephemera, which drops from Yggdrasil bosses. Now, those drops were bugged, but they have actually increased the weekly cap of just how many you can get, so you should be able to catch up relatively quickly. Now, those smarter than I have worked out that this actually scales with item level. And do you know what that kind of means? Hopefully, right, this will act as a creeping nerf to content because players are earning more power, and that because of that, Blizzard doesn't have to go in and like hotfix nerfs absolutely all the time on like the regular difficulties. Good stuff. Also, the final wing of Yggdrasil is out on LFR, letting everybody finish the campaign and all their characters. For those of us, of course, who have got many alts, this is very useful. And if you're not jaded by RNG, you could try farming Firalath on LFR. If you choose to do that, my Irish upbringing has me wanting to bang out a few rosaries for you, because I don't think the chances will be great. Now, we're also getting another Catalyst charge this week, which is dead handy, and your boy Hamul Rune Totem finally sells a box of 15 Worm Crests for 1 Dream Surge Cocoon. Pretty nice if you're a world content player, you want to upgrade your gear. And by the way, if that is you, do remember that if you're doing LFR or now heroic dungeons or time walking dungeons, you can get backup currency tokens from the vault, which you can then turn into Drake and Worm Crests to further upgrade your gear. Also, it's World Quest bonus week, so enjoy the 50% boost, and also, if you do, I believe 10 World Quests, a 2500 rep token for the base renowns. Come on, Blizz, add Low Omnifin to it at least. In other news, it's Comp Stomp week, finally after the delay. So with that, you head to Arathi Basin, you slaughter AI players for easy honor points, and that means if you want to get started in PvP, you've got a quick source of all of that gear, or if you just want to unlock the appearances, you can do so without having to engage in like full PvP. By the way, PvP players, I know you guys are hurting. I've watched Fenruki's latest video and I definitely want to do a deep dive so I can sort of bring your concerns, I suppose, to the audience that we have. Okay, what else then? Well, last week's buff round helped some stragglers, but now the hammer is falling on those who are too strong. Havoc DH's BM Hunters and Assassination Rogues are hit the most. There were then also some nerfs to overperforming healers. Restoration, Druid's damage has been nerfed, Mistweaver, Monk healing, and Discipline Priest damage and healing have been nerfed. There are a few welcome buffs that slipped in though for Unholy DK, Devo Evoker, Windwalker, Monk, Holy Priest, and Resto Shaman. Also, Mythic Tindral and Farak have been toned down a bit, and of course, talking about, bosses has me thinking of numbers. It reminds me of this video we did on the performance of Yggdrasil, which actually got a brief appearance in a PC Gamer feature article, which is pretty cool to see. Been reading them for a long time, but I've got an update to that. So, local legend Night Stalker, who was sharing with me what he's compiled based on the Raider IO numbers, which again, come directly from the Blizzard Armory API, actually show weeks 3 and 4 of this season doing super good. So here you can see the week 3 and 4 numbers. I mean, week 3, very strong. Week 4 with 2.3 million runs, very strong as well. We have in-time ratios of 88.9% and 90.8%. Now, these are strong numbers because by this time in Season 2, the average in-time ratio for Mythic Plus Keystones was almost 10% lower, and the participation numbers were seemingly far lower as well, with week 3 of Season 2 having 1.7 million players versus, of course, what we see here for Season 3, which is significantly stronger. Overall then, look, this just goes to show that the hard work Blizzard are doing is actually genuinely leading to more player retention. I mean, that Season 3 can be stronger than Season 2, that's really good, because normally it's just natural that participation does dwindle as an expansion goes on in its life. This is really positive. It's also neat to just dive into the data. As an example, Morazon's Rise is still the hardest dungeon. It's got an in-time ratio for weeks 3 and 4 of 79.2% and 83.7%. If you're wondering what the easiest dungeon is, it's Blackrock Hold. Its in-time ratios are about 97%, followed by the likes of Waycrest coming in just behind. Pretty interesting to see all this data. Again, thinking about Mythic Plus, like back this time in Shadowlands, you were still in the sanguine depths. Kinda rough. Okay, PSA for you. The old Authenticator app is actually going down January 5th, so you've got to migrate over to the new Battle.net app in order to have the Authenticator on your phone. It is a good app, actually, but I mean, personally, I do just prefer having a single-purpose app as an option. Anyway, while I'm on the topic of giving you PSAs, there's a really important one that will help you a lot. So, the Wowpedia staff have migrated from fandom over to wiki.gg as their host, basically protesting horrendous advertisement practices. The new version that is hosted on wiki.gg is so much better than Wowpedia, which was hosted on fandom. But the problem is, Wowpedia is actually indexed on way more search engines. So if you just want to Google something for like, Wow Wiki, whatever your question is, chances are the very old Wow Wiki or Wowpedia will appear in search. Now, here's the easy fix. This Chrome extension. If you install it, it will redirect all old wikis to wiki.gg, giving you the far better version. Okay, let's dive into some data mining then. We've got some terrific trading post pieces, of course, data mined and unveiled by the team over at Wowhead. So, spring sees us getting these gorgeous weapon models. I mean, come on. Keeping up with the timeless art style of WoW, that must be so damn hard for other MMOs. Anyway, looks great, and to go with these weapons, there's a lovely amber butterfly wing back piece as well, some lavender tops, and if you want a little bit more war, recent data mining actually suggests that these Logosh era Varian swords will actually hit the trading post. So, yeah, you can get his two-hander. Maybe there'll also be like the one-hander variations. Kind of hard to tell. Looks awesome anyway. Next then, we've got some recolors of weapons from old expansions that hadn't been in the game previously. I'm really here for the Amethyst Battle Axe. That looks sick. Obviously, I am very much big, Team Blue people. Catastrophe's Edge is also looking pretty damn nice too. Now, if you want a more down-to-earth tone, we do have some more like plain, simple weapons along with this wallet, which will be quite perfect for your goblin bank alts. We've also then seen these previously data mined Courage themed stuff actually get assigned to the database. And I think that just means that we'll see this be there perhaps in the January trading post to go along with the Call of the Scarab micro holiday from January 21st to 24th. And hey, Blizzard, like Ian, you are talking about people earning some more tender in-game. I think some of those micro holidays, rather than just giving us some journal completion, those maybe giving us some tender would be a fairly strong thing, I think. As for other stuff, well, Belemeth, the new Night Elf city, has now got a proper map. We've got some new Night Elf kid models to live in that city, and Blizzard are threading a dramatic needle. So here's the deal. The Horde helped to fight to defend this tree, but they kind of did also burn Teldrassil. So to make this actually feel right, and to still have it be that Horde players can go to this, ultimately, Zone of the Dragon Isles, Horde players will get a buff called Eyes of the Sentinels, which reads, the eyes of the Sentinels are upon you. Seen and unseen eyes alike are watching your every move. Totally reminds me as an example of, say, Gimli, like, bumbling his way into Lothlorien. There's also dialogue from Hamul Runetotem that says this. Emirdrassil has bloomed. Belemeth marks a place of healing and respite for the Kaldori. Part of this was due to our aid. Taronda has graciously allowed us to walk freely here because of it. Enjoy what this new land has to offer. Bask in its beauty, but do not make the High Priestess regret her decision. Overall then, I think a needle threaded quite well. Okay. Bellular.ghost.io members, I'm collecting your messages right now for end-of-video Q&As. They'll be happening on at least our WoW news episodes. Also, check out our membership there for a ton of exclusive content across our channels. And if you want something to watch next, check out this video, because if you're not really sure what to think about the whole World Soul part of the future expansions, this video takes you from Warcraft 1 through to the present. It's going to be a hell of a trip. Okay, enjoy that video. I'll see you over there, and have a wonderful weekend.